At 7:30 in the morning, the men's restroom on the third floor of the Pentagon's E-Wing is always filled with the mixed scent of disinfectant and lemon air freshener. Joseph Joe Peterson, dressed in a slightly oversized blue cleaning uniform, meticulously wipes the stainless steel faucets with a chamois cloth until they reflect his graying sideburns. His movements are slow, precise, and imbued with an almost ritualistic focus. Every tile grout, every doorknob, is spotlessly cleaned. Here, no one knows his full name. Everyone calls him Old Joe. Joe's back is slightly hunched, and his left leg walks with an almost imperceptible stiffness, a mark of bygone years. He is taciturn, his gray eyes always lowered, seemingly forever focused on the reflective floor beneath his feet and the tools in his hands. Young officers hurry in and out, occasionally nodding to him, but more often ignoring him. He is like a moving piece of furniture in this vast building, quiet, harmless, and almost transparent. At 9 o'clock in the morning, a top-secret meeting on a cybersecurity vulnerability in the Global Rapid Response System was scheduled for the adjacent, medium-sized conference room. Attendees included several four-star generals, high-ranking civilian officials, and technical experts from the National Security Agency, NSA, and contractor Cyber Dynamics. Joe began cleaning the conference room an hour early, wiping down the massive mahogany conference table, adjusting the angle of each leather chair, and checking the projector and secure telephone lines. His fingers moved with a delicate touch, as if handling fragile treasures. After the meeting began, Joe pushed a cleaning cart through the corridor, performing routine maintenance. He could faintly hear the heated discussion inside, jargon flying, zero-day vulnerability, logic bomb, supply chain attack. His gaze remained unchanged, only more focused on cleaning an inconspicuous coffee stain on the edge of a trash can. Just after 10 o'clock, the voices in the conference room suddenly rose, filled with obvious anxiety and anger. Impossible! Our internal network is physically isolated. It was the voice of the base commander, General William Crawford. General, the enemy has clearly exploited a hardware backdoor implanted by maintenance personnel, right here in this room. It's disguised as a redundant module of a projector. We just confirmed it. Derek Sandell, the chief technical expert at Cyber Dynamics, a young man, spoke urgently, with the unquestionable arrogance characteristic of a tech elite. It's attempting to establish an external connection. If successful, the core architecture of the entire rapid response system will be stolen. We must physically dismantle it within 5 minutes. Otherwise, we'll have to trigger the circuit breaker for the entire network, which means at least 72 hours of global command paralysis. The conference room fell silent. The consequences of the circuit breaker were unimaginable. Then dismantle it, General Crawford growled. The problem is, Sandell's voice held a hint of despair. This backdoor module is equipped with an anti-disassembly device. Any non-specific disassembly sequence, or the use of the wrong tools, will immediately trigger data erasure and alarm transmission. We don't have its schematics. This is a custom-made, high-end product. Panic began to fill the room. Several generals looked ashen-faced, and the civilian officials were at a loss. Time ticked by. Just then, there was a soft knock on the conference room door, followed by its opening. It was Old Joe. He was carrying a replacement hand sanitizer dispenser, seemingly making a routine resupply. "Excuse me, gentlemen." Joe's voice was calm, with the characteristic hoarseness of an elderly person. "I heard you. Could you please empty the trash can?" His gaze swept quickly across the conference room, landing on the projector with its exposed wiring and its disassembled casing, and the sweating technicians surrounding it. Derek Sandell, already irritated, immediately vented his anger on the oblivious cleaner. Get out! Can't you see we're dealing with an emergency? This isn't a place for you." His tone was sharp, laced with undisguised contempt. "What good will a toilet cleaner do?" Joe's body stiffened almost imperceptibly, his gray eyes narrowing slightly, but quickly returning to their usual placid state. He didn't leave. Instead, he took 2 steps forward, his gaze fixed on the tangled cables and an inconspicuous additional chip soldered to the edge of the motherboard. "It's a Cerberus Type 3 hardware Trojan," Joe suddenly spoke, his voice low but like an ice cube thrown into boiling water, instantly silencing the entire room. "The anti-tampering mechanism is based on a miniature mercury switch and shape memory alloy wire. Forced disassembly or touching specific contacts with metal tools will trigger it." Everyone froze, staring in astonishment at the old man in the cleaning uniform. "You? What did you say?" Sandal's mouth dropped open, his face a picture of absurdity. Joe ignored him, instead looking at the grave-faced General Crawford, his tone still calm. "General, give me a pair of plastic tweezers, a small piece of conductive foam, and a paperclip." General Crawford stared intently at Joe, his eyes filled with shock and disbelief. He didn't ask why, but simply yelled at a stunned adjutant beside him. "Do as he says." Quickly. The tools were quickly brought. Joe walked to the conference table and carefully placed the hand sanitizer dispenser on the floor. He took the plastic tweezers and the straightened paperclip. His calloused, wrinkled hands at that moment were as steady as a surgeon's on an operating table. He gestured for the others to step back. His movements were gentle, precise, and possessed an indescribable rhythm. With the tip of the paperclip, he carefully probed a very hidden groove beneath the chip and gently moved it. Then, using conductive foam as a barrier, he pressed down on a specific area of the chip. Finally, with the plastic tweezers, he gripped the chip's main body with a specific, spiraling, slight twist. Click! A sound so faint, it was almost inaudible. Joe flicked his wrist, and the deadly additional chip was completely removed, without any alarms or data erasure. The entire process took less than 30 seconds. The conference room was deathly silent, save for the faint hum of the air conditioning system. Everyone seemed frozen in place, watching Joe gently place the chip on the conductive foam, then wipe his hands with the chamois cloth, as if he had just completed a trivial task. Derek Sandell was deathly pale, his lips trembling, unable to utter a single word. General Crawford took a deep breath and slowly walked to Joe, his eyes filled with complex emotions, shock, respect, and a deep sense of guilt. His voice trembled as he tentatively uttered a long-forgotten call. "Watcher? Joseph Peterson? Is it really you? Watcher!" This call shattered the silence of the room like a bolt of lightning. Joe, or rather, Joseph Peterson, slowly raised his head, looking at the general, a distant and weary light flashing in his eyes. He nodded slightly. Admiral Crawford abruptly turned to all the attendees, his voice choked with emotion, yet loud enough for everyone to hear. "Gentlemen, do you know who just saved us from this disaster? Standing before you is Joseph Watchman Peterson, the former Chief Hardware Countermeasures expert of the National Security Agency's Targeted Intrusion Operations Office, DAO. During the Cold War, he personally dissected and reverse-engineered more than 20 types of enemy-implanted hardware spyware. The Cerberus Protocol. God, that was one of the identification and disposal standards he spearheaded. The general's gaze, like a cold blade, swept over the ashen-faced Derek Sandell. He retired because during an overseas operation, while protecting crucial evidence, his left hand was injured by a booby-trapped chip, causing permanent nerve damage that prevents him from ever performing the most delicate micro-soldering work again. But what's in his head is more valuable than all your databases combined. He pointed at Joe, addressing Sandel and everyone who had just shown disdain, saying each word clearly. And you, sir, you dared to call him the toilet cleaner. Derek Sandel completely broke down. He staggered forward, bowing deeply to Joe, his voice trembling with sobs and immense shame. Mr. Peterson, I'm sorry for my ignorance, my arrogance. I beg your forgiveness. He stammered, wishing he could disappear into the ground. Joe looked at him, his eyes showing neither the triumph of victory nor the anger of offense, only a deep, weathered calm. He raised his left hand, covered in old wounds and trembling slightly, and waved it gently. It's all right, young man. His voice was still hoarse but calm. Discovering problems relies on knowledge. Solving problems relies on steady hands. Your knowledge is good, but next time, be a little steadier. He bent down, picked up the hand sanitizer dispenser from the floor, and nodded slightly to General Crawford. General, if there's nothing else, I need to restock the restrooms. The third floor is almost empty. With that, he pushed his cleaning cart, and as he had arrived, quietly left the conference room. The door closed softly behind him, shutting out the complex gazes and turbulent emotions within. In the corridor, the fluorescent lights cast an even glow on the mirror-like floor. Joseph, Watchman Peterson, pushed his cart, continuing his unfinished work. His back was as slightly hunched as ever, but beneath that blue cleaning uniform lay a soul that had once guarded the nation's deepest secrets, a soul that would never retire. Those silent achievements may go unnoticed, but they have never disappeared. They have simply been transformed into the meticulous cleaning we do every day, and the rock-solid, life-changing 30 seconds in times of crisis.